My name's Linda Levesque. I live in Brunswick and I teach at Morse High School in Bath. Have dealt with a bad knee for a long time. I originally had surgery when I was at Michigan State as a grad student. Blew it out playing racquetball, if you can imagine that, after a career of being a high school and a college athlete. So I lived with that knee way longer than I should have. And I actually ended up going to see the doc about my hip. And he said, "We're not doing anything about that hip until we take a look at your knee." And so went through all the procedure of that, met with Pippi and the gang at Coastal and set me up on a pre-program, which I did faithfully because that's just how I'm wired.
And said, "You know what, I'm probably going to need a knee replacement in the next 6 months, but I want to do the best job that I can." And of course, that's the music to a physical therapist's ears. He said, "Great, let's get that soft tissue ready. Let's get your muscles and everything ready for that surgery." So what we did was we sat together for a treatment. We gave her a strengthening program, one that she could do at home with weights and one that she could do with at the gym with weights. And she did an exercise program probably a few months, at least 3 times a week, to kind of prep her knee for surgery so she could be a successful candidate.
Got ready for surgery in July, successful. I teach school, so I was hoping to get back in September, but it ended up being in my best interest to go back in October. So rehab became 24/7, 365.
When she came after therapy, she was in a lot of pain. I mean, this is a lady who's a tough cookie. She has a high tolerance of pain. She can do a whole lot. She'll do anything you ask her to. But it was not a walk in the park. We had to do a lot of encouragement, but she tolerated it. I mean, she didn't slack off. She did everything I asked her to. She had to be at home on her CPM initially. She had to really strive to get that range of motion. She wanted over 120, because that's what we don't get, and she strived to get every minute of it.
Our goals were very aggressive. It wasn't like I just wanted to pat around in a kitchen. And I wanted to coach, I wanted to hike, I wanted to bike, I wanted to cross-country ski, I wanted to teach physical education and be with the kids and not have to sit and be a bystander.
She was with me a few times a week, really, for the entire summer, because she wanted to get back with those kids, working with those kids again. So we worked, and she came to the fall time, and it was September, and she wanted to be back and running around on the field, and she just wasn't quite there yet, which was I think it was a little disappointing, because she'd started in June, she wanted to be there in September. She could function, she could get through a day, but to get through a day with all those kids and not sitting down, just being a gym teacher all day, it wasn't a reality yet. So we had to talk about what was realistic. And she had a few more weeks, and within the first month or so, she was back at school with those kids.
Technology is incredible, you know, and they can do something to ease your pain and increase your mobility. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you have to be ready, and you have to be willing to put in the time to get everything back to where it should be, which is really not that big a deal. You're taking care of yourself. I mean, and that should be pretty important. As far as when for you, I know that I have a 70-year-old neighbor who probably, everybody I talk to with a knee replacement always says, "Oh, I waited. I shouldn't have waited. It was so easy," and not easy, but it was okay to do. So if quality of life is affected, you got to start taking some steps, definitely. And as I said in the beginning, technology is such that it's like changing tires. It's not that big a deal anymore.